family lost half their house in a fire caused by two young fans of the cartoon. MTV has moved Beavis and Butt-Head to 10:30 p.m., and producers of the movie have said they didn't mean to encourage this behavior and recently pulled their controversial scene. The question now is, who is responsible for what our children watch on television, and what can we all do to fix this very serious problem?
Let me begin our discussion with Crystal Bridges, who's from Sydney, Ohio. Crystal is here with her two children, Kristen and Tashay. Kristen is 6, Tashay is 8. And you watch Beavis and Butt-Head. You used to. You watched it? Because they're kind of stupid. I mean, they're stupid, these guys. Don't you think? But you liked it. You watched it? And then what happened? You can tell me. Did you get a can of spray? Then what?
A lighter.
Get a can of spray and a lighter. Then what?
Aerosol can.
Hmm?
Aerosol can.
It's an aerosol can. You probably went psst, like that. Then what? Then what'd you do?
Tell her.
Did you light the lighter? And you didn't even know you started a fire. You and your sister then went back to the house where they were, like, watching you while your mom was looking for a job? And then all of a sudden, what did you discover? Whose house was on fire? Your house. $6,000 worth of damage. But you are safe, thank God. You weren't hurt, right or wrong. You didn't get burned. Well, Crystal, Mom, close call here.
I'd like to say to everyone that I made a mistake that, you know, all of us make in our entire life. And I just want everyone not to make the mistake that I made of letting television, you know, the shows on television, they're turning out to be violent. And I'm sorry that this has happened, that I let this happen, with, you know, not going over what my kids was watching. I never knew anything about Beavis and Butt-Head. I worked second shift, and I didn't know what they were watching. They were home with their father, so I don't know what they were watching.
They weren't even at your house.
They were at my house. They were next door at the sitter, and they went back in the house.
So while you, did you say you were working? I thought you were looking for...
I was out running errands and looking for employment because I'm laid off right now.
Okay.
And the babysitter next door was...
watching the kids.
They left out of her house and went back into my house.
Yeah.
I left the door unlocked.
And something they never would have thought of aerosol and flammability of this or, huh? I mean, obviously they were instructed by the cartoon.
Right.
So now the question becomes, what's responsible for, you know, what kind of material shall be in the programming that children are going to view and what shouldn't? And here's a chilling example. Do you know, there was a year from Sydney, Ohio, there was a child in Moraine, Ohio, was killed. Do you know about this? Her house burned? You know about that?
Yeah.
You've talked to them about this?
Yeah, they told me about it. I didn't even know that this happened until they heard it on the news, and when I come home, they was telling me that the little girl got burned up in Moraine.
Here is what the producers have had to say following. First of all, don't confuse this. These are both Ohio stories. These beautiful young people are from Sydney, Ohio. The fatality that was linked to the Beavis and Butt-Head scare or scene happened in Moraine, Ohio, a suburb of Dayton. Here's what the producers have said. Beavis and Butt-Head is made for teenagers and young adults who make up the overwhelming majority of its audience. These viewers see the cartoon for what it is, an exaggerated parody of two teenage misfits whose antics take place in a cartoon world. Antics they know are obviously unacceptable and not to be emulated in real life. Nevertheless, we have decided to bend over backwards as responsible programmers. To that end, we are deleting all references to fire by the Beavis and Butt-Head characters. The regular time slot for the show will move to 10:30 p.m. So here's one producer that said, okay, we feel awful about this. We'll do something about it. Did you ever discuss with your beautiful daughters fire and its potential danger? You did.
I teach my kids about fire zone, and the school does too. They have fire safety at school every school year. They're in fire safety, and I teach them. Their father was a smoker, and he taught them too. He had lighters around. They never messed with lighters. I'm not saying that, Beavis and Butt-Head are characters. There's people behind Beavis and Butt-Head, the people that make Beavis and Butt-Head. So I guess I can't blame Beavis and Butt-Head. I could blame the people that write them and put these things in their minds to do. I like to know what kind of childhood they had in their background to think of these things to do, these scenes and in the fires and with the animals, the cat, just all the things that they do and the things they say. I never knew anything about Beavis and Butt-Head. I didn't get to watch television much working second shift.
Well, you're not unlike a lot of mothers. You are a single parent?
Right now I am.
And you're also unemployed, so you're out looking for work. You're also got other things you have to do to make sure your family survives. And you responsibly had your children in the charge of a next-door neighbor. Somehow they got out, went to your empty house, and mimicked the scene with the lighter from Beavis and Butt-Head. I'm not sure I'm smart enough to know what to do about this, except that a lot of people are now talking to themselves about we have the issue of the program, as you know, the film in which young people lie in the middle of the street, and we have at least 3 confirmed deaths as a result of that. Incidentally, we'll be speaking with the mother of one of the fatalities on that particular tragedy in just a moment. I grew up with the Three Stooges. You're not young. You did. I was going to say you're not old enough for that. Beep, bonk, beep, curl. I mean, they. And I had a lot of guys. Bonk, bank, walk, honk, and guys did that. Dragged other guys around by the nose. So I suppose we shouldn't be surprised that there would be a certain amount of imitation. What we did not anticipate is that this spoof on teenage misfits would reach these impressionable young minds and cause them to recreate the incident. Are they rebuilding your house? Your house was not totally destroyed.
We're back in our apartment.
You're back?
We're back in our apartment.
I see. Oh, it wasn't a house, it was an apartment.
It was a double.
I see. A multiple dwelling in any event. And yours was damaged to the tune of $6,000. Some neighbors have helped you?
I got help from Red Cross.
Right. And your kids will never watch Beavis and Butt-Head again?
We don't watch Beavis and Butt-Head. We have VCR and we watch tapes. We go to the video store and get tapes.
You don't watch Beavis and Butt-Head?
Nope. Nope.
Well, it's on at 10 o'clock at night. You better not. You should be sleeping. I hope you're asleep by 10 o'clock. And you know not to play with fire, right? Because your mom told you that. You must have been surprised. Did it go poof?
Yeah.
Did it make noise when it go like that?
No.
How'd it go?
A torch.
Like a torch when you lit the lighter? I don't even know how you would know how to light a lighter. You don't smoke cigarettes or anything. You just went like that? And it flamed?
Yeah.
How long was the flame? Show me with your hand. Just went shoo, like that?
Yeah.
And you got scared of it.
No.
You didn't get scared? You didn't drop this and run?
No.
You just set it down and you walked out of the house?
Yes, you did. Yeah.
What did she do? She dropped it, you mean? What did she do? She got scared, you said. What did she do?
Put it down.
She just put it down? And you say, okay, that was fun, and then you went back to the other house.
No.
What did you do?
Went outside and played.
White bike.
You went outside and played? You're convinced your daughters have got this now, and that this is, I mean, you've got to be a little gun shy now, Mom.
I make sure what they watch now on television.
In a moment, we're going to see a collision between two people who have different views about what we ought to do about this. And incidentally, how do you feel about Janet Reno stepping before Congress and saying, if we don't watch it, the government's going to have to watch television for you and make certain judgments about what shall or shall not be seen. Does that trouble anybody here? For the moment, let's be grateful we still have Kristen and Taché with us. We'll be back to meet the families of young men who reclined in the middle of a busy street because they watched a program by Touchstone Pictures in which Yahoo teenage males, after a night on the town, do this because they think it's cute. Some of the people who did it in real life survived, some did not. We'll be back in just a moment. In the middle of the street last week, a busy street where real cars and real trucks sped by. Was this after a party, or what was the circumstance of the evening, Donald?
We were basically bored.
Bored.
Bored, we had nothing to do.
Uh-huh. And had you seen the movie that day or the preceding?
No, we never seen the movie. We just seen the clips from TV and stuff.
So TV calling attention to the fact that the imitation is causing death caused you to imitate the scene even though you didn't see the movie?
Basically.
Uh-huh. So quite obviously what we're going to have to do is put our kids in a rubber room in the basement and not let them out until they're about 35 years old. Not let them to watch anything. Well, Donald, you know this was dumb.
Yeah.
And you're coming to say, when I look back on it now, I realize...
I realize that I shouldn't have done it and other people shouldn't do it. It's very scary.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. Is there something about the young people today, your age, 17, or would we have been capable of this 50, 40 years ago if similar movies were made? I don't know. A bunch of the guys got to... Were you sober when you did this, Don?
Yes, we were. It was just a bunch of guys together, guys and girls, and just walking on the street looking for something to do. And
was it at night?
no, it was during rush hour.
So how many guys were with you when you reclined on the center stripe?
Yes.
You got some of your pals with you?
Yeah, my father and one of the kids that was with us did it. He didn't do it, the kid that's with us, but he
You
was
didn't do
there.
it? Your mother raised no foolish children. You were with him, though.
Yes.
I said, hey, let's go down the line down the street. Hey,
Well, this said I just didn't want to do it. I thought it was stupid.
You said, you guys want to do it? Go ahead, I'm not doing it.
That's right.
So did you watch him do it?
Yeah.
You must have been having trouble holding your urine in watching this.
Yeah, I told him not to do it. I was screaming my lungs out. Told him not to do it.
You were screaming at him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you saw the cars whiz by these guys? How many were there besides Donald?
Two other.
Nathan and Sean.
Nathan and Sean. They're not here, obviously.
Yeah. And how many cars went by, Donald?
One. Then we seen an 18-wheeler coming down the road.
You saw an 18-wheeler coming.
Yeah.
And you said, well, see you later, or what?
Yeah.
That was enough.
That was enough. The one car was about yay close to us, so it was kind of scary.
If you're not going to be killed, you're going to be paralyzed for life.
I didn't realize that until after I did it. I mean, I didn't realize the seriousness of it until after it was done and over with.
Uh-huh.
And
somebody called the cops, obviously.
yes, somebody that was in the restaurant had called the cops and said that there was 3 teenagers laying down the road. Then we went to another restaurant and the cops came in and they asked us about it.
Yeah. Thank you. Let me talk to your dad here. You're Mr. Bunn, are you, sir? Yes. Sir. Well, your boy's alive.
Thank God for that.
You are a divorced parent. I'm not sure, does Donald live with you?
Yes, he does.
He does. He's also a high school dropout, so?
Yes. Yes.
So we have here, what's the matter? You upset? I mean,
Yeah.
doesn't mean you're on the post office wall, you know. A lot of people are dropped. But here's the point, you know, you said you opened this interview by saying you were bored.
Yeah.
I appreciate very much your honesty. I think I know what you mean. So does everybody else.
All right.
We have movies about that, too. I don't know, what do you want to do? I don't know, what do you want to do? I don't know. So you're looking for excitement, and you see on the TV, all the evening news has the story about the movie and how young people are imitating it. Is this I assume you agree with your son. Boredom is very much under this.
I'm sure that was a part of it, yes.
Mm-hmm. Is he your only son, or are you?
This is my only son.
I see. You've looked for work, you can't find it, I assume.
I've had jobs, but basically no.
And if you don't have a high school diploma, I assume that pretty much narrows your options.
Yeah, I'm going back to school soon, so I've kind of learned the hard way about it.
Well, here's a real live survivor, a young man who imitated what was happening in the movie The Program. Incidentally, that scene has been removed from that picture. Are you there, caller? Hi.
Hi.
Yeah.
Just like you can't legislate judgment, I'm 40, I have a 21-year-old daughter. We watch Beavis and Butt-Head, and we think it's hilarious, but I don't let my 6-year-old watch it. And I don't think that the people that invent these things that are satires should be penalized. I think parents ought to teach their children discernment and judgment. It's that simple.
Yeah. And nobody started a forest fire after watching Bambi. And we've got an oven in Hansel and Gretel. I don't know whether stepmothers are safe as a result of this. And I appreciate your point, caller, but in this frightened age, when we seem to be mad at everybody, you seem to be in the minority. I don't know a whole lot of people who are necessarily going to celebrate the rights of the creative community who put together these programs. Sir.
Yes, ma'am. You said that you taught your children about fires and the dangers of fire. What did you teach them to do if there was a fire? I think the kids just left the house after they sprayed the aerosol can. What did you teach them to do?
I teach them to run and go tell someone, but they didn't do that because evidently the fire ignited on some plastic or something. I don't know. That's what the fire guy said. And they went out. They said there was no fire when they got there.
So they didn't know that the fire had started.
They didn't know the fire had started. They went out to play.
Patricia Shingledecker, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Mrs. Shingledecker, you talked to us on the phone from Polk, Pennsylvania.
Yes.
It's just now a few days since your 17-year-old son, Michael, was killed after copying the movie stunt about which we spoke with Donald here. Yes. Your son's death occurred on October 15th.
16th, actually.
16th.
After midnight.
Very good. Did he see the movie that night, Mrs. Shingledecker?
No, he didn't. He saw it the prior weekend.
See. You don't recall, of course, being mom, I didn't let my mother in on too many of my conversations with me, but you had no idea what was in this movie. There was no conversation in your house among the kids about that scene, was there?
No, there was. I wasn't even sure that that's the movie he had gone to.
Uh-huh. Well, I very much thank you for allowing us to interrupt this very, very painful time in your life. For you, any counsel on this it comes too late. You have already lost your son, and so that this is really an act of love and civic responsibility for you to even consent to appear on the telephone with us. What would you want to share with our audience here as we try to make our way through this very complicated issue?
Well, I guess I would just like to thank God that Donald has realized the wrong in doing something like this, and that he woke up before it was too late. And I just pray that God will stay with the rest of the families and never let it happen again.
Do you blame media, Patricia?
I have a real hard problem dealing with the fact that my husband and I are very appreciative that Touchstone took the clip out of the movie, which you had to be 17 to see and had to go pay for. And the media is splashing it all over the living room, in every living room in America, for all the smaller children to see that they're not even old enough to go to the movie to see it to begin with.
So you have some questions, or at least grievances, with the newscasts that continually re-show the scene in question. Is this what I'm hearing you say?
Very much so.
If it wasn't for the newscast, we wouldn't have done it.
Donald seems to support your point. He makes the point that he never even saw the movie. He just saw the scene.
That's one of my big problems. I mean, they did take the clip out of the movie so that no one else supposedly could ever see it. And the news media splashed it on every television in America.
Yeah.
Repeatedly.
Yeah. Your son was as normal as any 17-year-old son, and obviously, not unlike Donald, who's a good guy too, as we've already established, this was a moment of immature irresponsibility. Is that how we want to say it?
I'm glad you said a moment, because yes, Michael was a very responsible child.
And that's all it takes for a moment, is a moment. And your irreplaceable son is dead. Let's review here. Patricia Shingledecker makes the point that she's grateful to Touchstone for removing the scene and upset with the repeat of the scene in every newscast in the country. Incidentally, Beavis and Butt-Head have more attention now than they've ever had prior to their silly little scenario of lighting a match to a aerosol can. I will ask you to stand by with us, Mrs. Shingledecker. In a moment, we'll hear from two folks who have more than just a passing interest in this. Dick Zimmerman is a TV producer from California. What is the creative community's responsibility here? And Ken Tucker is a critic, a TV critic and columnist for Entertainment Weekly. What shall we do about this? Is television now so influential in the lives of young people that we must now expect that a certain percentage of them will necessarily respond even to bizarre, offbeat, crazy illusions that we create in film, and in trying to recreate them in real life, we can cause, as we've seen, real tragedy. And we'll be back in just a moment. What would you want to share with us regarding, you're a TV producer?
Phil, my heart goes out to Mrs. Shingledecker and to Don also, because Mrs. Shingledecker's son and Don are victims of a system where we don't teach and preach common sense anymore in this country. That, coupled with the pervasive anger that's going on amongst particularly young people, coupled with the fact that a segment of television has decided that gratuitous violence is an acceptable means to make ungodly profits, we're going to have tragedies in this country.
So you would do what about it then?
We need to demand of the television industry that they be a part of our community, that they no longer hide behind the wall that they've built for themselves, putting the gruel in the bowl and slipping it under the door that we're supposed to eat, whether we like it or not, or whether it hurts us or not.
Yeah. Do Romeo and Juliet get to kill themselves?
Romeo and Juliet didn't live in 1993, Phil.
So in other words, you wouldn't put a scene like that in a movie today?
Not saying that, but what I'm saying is that we have criminality and violence consuming our country today at an epidemic rate like never before in history.
Would you sit still for government censorship?
Absolutely not.
Well then...
Absolutely, positively, God forbid, the government should touch censorship.
How about Ken Tucker, the TV critic from Entertainment Weekly?
Well, I mean, I just think that you can't anticipate what's going to set people off. I mean, you know...
I think you can. I think common sense will tell you that when you have a television show on the air like Beavis and Butt-Head that commit major felonies in virtually...
I would not have guessed this, I must say.
Major felonies in virtually every episode, Phil, that you're going to pump ideas into the mind of youngsters who are trying to figure out how they're going to be cool.
Yeah, but then you have shows like...
I am a young girl, and I'm like around the age of a lot of the people that's involved in this. And everybody, when they're young, they go through things and they get, they feel self-destructive, they have problems. And you're blaming television for this?
Oh, no.
So are you going to tell a child that's influenced by her friends to drink a beer that these people are responsible for this person drinking a beer?
And where is the influence with her friend?
Well, do you think that during the Holocaust, when there was all of this violence, that people were going home and looking at violence on TV? You can't say that violence on television promotes violence.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yes, I most assuredly.
No, you can't say.
Yes, I most assuredly can.
You're 17 years old. You look at a clip on
Don
TV.
is a prime example of it.
He's one example.
And you wouldn't have saw that clip, you would have found another self-destructive thing to do.
Not
that clip gave you an idea, but it's not the clip's fault that you did something
because
stupid.
the TV is the one who put it on the TV.
Well, you would have found something else to
They publicize it to the world.
Yeah.
But there's a difference, because on Beavis and Butt-Head, and what you're talking about, the producer, Mr. Zimmerman, is that it's so graphic.
Yeah.
I think, you look at a show like Murder, She Wrote, that's on every week, and a murder occurs every single week. And my niece, who's 10, can watch that. And I don't have to worry about her going out and committing a murder because they don't show graphic violence.
There is a responsible way to deal with violence.
Yes, this
absolutely.
young woman wants to say.
I'd just like to say that I'm not sure how responsible, TVs and movies are for all of this, because I have a 60-something-year-old uncle who, when he was very young, blew up a small bridge with some stray dynamite that he found, and they didn't even have TV.
Sure.
He caused major structural damage to a small community without the aid of television.
Yeah.
He grew up to be a policeman.
He's a policeman.
A retired policeman.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it could be responsible for some of it, yes, but then also people have to take responsibility for their actions at a certain point.
Absolutely.
That clip did not make him do that. His own ignorance did.
Yeah. Yes, you wanted to say.
Speaking of responsibility taking, where was the babysitter during all this with your children?
She was in her house. She was in the house, her house. And the kids were upstairs playing. She thought they were still up there playing. She didn't know the kids had even went out of the house.
About the babysitter.
But she was there.
So look, for every example that anyone could give of any Beavis and Butt-Head episode of any movie like the program, there are thousands and millions of violent images that people take in of all kinds of poor taste things that do not affect people this way.
Really?
You can't anticipate what is going to set people off and what isn't. It's just, I mean, one of the most popular shows of the new season is NYPD Blue. Gets high ratings. A lot of people undoubtedly like it. This is very, very rough stuff on this show, both sexually and in terms of the action scenes they have.
And desensitization is not a real phenomenon?
No, I don't think it is.
Oh, really?
No.
That's interesting.
Well,
we should talk about that.
We should.
Desensitization, for those of you that aren't clear on what it is a process that occurs that when you continually
If you watch enough things, you don't get, your body doesn't even respond to them anymore.
Disappear.
Yeah.
And it was recently used in Los Angeles at the Reginald Denny trial, as a matter of fact,
Right.
where their lawyer showed the jury the scenes of the brick being put on Reginald,
Right.
on the man's head.
I'm Reginald Denny, and the more they showed the less painful it became.
Exactly.
That's very true.
So
That does happen.
desensitization, contrary to what this gentleman feels, is a very real phenomenon. And when you realize that a child graduating elementary school will have seen 8,000 murders on television,
Right.
there's something terribly wrong.
but the point is there are all sorts of counter activities that are done every day by parents, by the things you learn and read in your life that teaches you that you don't go out and emulate these things.
In a moment, we'll give the rest of this audience a chance to make their own contribution to this very contemporary dialogue, and we'll be back in just a moment.
I just want to say, I think it's kind of a cop-out to blame TV. I mean, I think the parents have a responsibility to teach their kids the difference between what's right and wrong.
Teach our kids right.
Yes.
And when you're not with your kids all the time, you have to work. And you work a second shift job and you're home with their other parent or whatever.
Absolutely.
You teach your kids. You teach your kids. I teach my kids all the time.
Well, there are
but
a
it
lot
doesn't
of-
say they're not going to do nothing.
There are a lot of big issues here that you can't bring up in the context of this small controversy, which is very easy to stoke up and inflame people with. And one of these things is an economy that obliges both parents to be working, doesn't provide for decent daycare or makes it impossible
But
for
doesn't
parents.
that make it more imperative that television be a part of our community and try to help us out of this crisis in America?
No.
I don't understand this.
No, because part of the problem is that you have to look at television as providing entertainment, not
entertainment,
guidance.
I see.
Television is not there to
see.
teach your kids.
So gratuitous
You're
violence
right.
and criminality
it's not there to
used as a device to make huge profits is satisfactory entertainment.
You're contradicting your own
Let me
point
tell you,
by
Ken-
saying
Ken,
that
you're
contradicting your own point by saying that television should be teaching our children.
Yes.
I don't think they have the obligation to do that. I think parents
absolutely
do.
they have an
the
obligation.
last thing I want to do is
Yeah.
trust a bunch of network programmers and TV producers out in Hollywood
So just
to
let 'em
teach
run amok
my
then.
kids values.
So just let them run
I want my kids to be taught the
I've
values
got a
that I want.
2-month-old son. I got a 2-month-old son, okay?
Yeah.
And when my son gets old enough, I want him to watch Barney. Now, okay, for one thing, Barney will teach my son right. Am I right there?
Right.
So television in some way will help you. But in other things, it doesn't help people.
Sure.
There should be some limit there.
Because he's going to grow up looking at TV with your input, too. You're going to watch with him. You're going to say, well, that guy's acting pretty ridiculous on television, and have a discussion about that. He's going to, you're going to watch with him and see Bugs Bunny cartoons, and you're going to laugh, and he's going to understand that that's slapstick, that Roadrunner falling off a cliff is, you know, not a violent act. As so many of these researchers that document violent acts on television, George Gerbner, the University of Pennsylvania, this researcher who gives you all these terrible figures about how many violent images you're bombarded with, is a guy who says that, you know, a coyote dropping an anvil on the Roadrunner is a violent act that could, you know, mar your child's psyche. I mean, come on, let's, you know, there's no common sense about that.
How about the American Federation of Radio and Television Artists that passed a ruling at their Chicago convention a few months ago that said that gratuitous violence and criminality in America is a major problem in television and needs to be dealt with.
Which is like voting against murder. I mean, what does it mean, gratuitous violence? Come on, let's understand this, that we're all out here orating and nobody quite knows how to really affect any kind of monitor on what is seen. For example, if you're going to argue that we're desensitized because we're watching too many acts of violence, well, what do you do then? I get 3 acts of violence if I'm a producer or a creative artist. He gets 2, or would he get 1 when you first break into the business? Or how many? How are you going to possibly?
As far as a definition of gratuitous violence, if it looks like a duck and it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, don't tell me it's a Volkswagen.
That's too easy.
You'll know it when you see it.
Yeah.
And we're seeing a lot of it.
Yes.
Why do we have to always have someone to blame for things that happen in the world? Things are happening, tragedy all over every place. We're not going to stop it. We must talk with our children, talk with them, and talk some more. And children are going to make mistakes. They've been making mistakes all of our lives. Children have made mistakes.
Yeah.
And we cannot blame somebody or something for everything tragic that happens in the world.
I grew up without aerosol cans.
So did I.
I grew up without butane lighters.
But I also grew up when we climbed the tree.
Yes, you
but
did.
we knew to hold on to that tree rather than fall. When we see other kids fall out of trees, and they don't hurt themselves.
Yeah. Now they might try to bungee jump. I mean, really, you
But they are
can't.
bungee jumping, but they have, but they jump in a
We
safe
keep harking
way.
back to this simpler time, and the problem is that, you know, you don't give enough credit to kids and parents living today as being just as sophisticated as many of the people who put these shows on the air. I mean, people see through these things. People understand what's satire. People understand what is entertainment.
And things in America are real peaceful, and we don't have a thing to worry about.
Well,
but I don't
nobody's
see why-
saying that. And we'll be back in just a moment.
The thing.
Elementary school, the average American child has already watched 10,000 acts of violence, including 8,000 murders on television. And by the age of 18, the average teen will watch 200,000 acts of violence, including 40,000 murders on television. You wanted to say, caller?
Yes, Phil, I'd like to make the comment that I feel this issue is a prelude to censorship. Here, once again, we have a minority dictating to the majority. Because of a few events, however tragic, we have major networks and major filmmakers altering their programming.
Yes, we do. Touchstone has removed the scene, and Beavis and Butt-Head has moved to 10 o'clock.
Oh, it has?
Yeah.
Why is it on at 5 o'clock in the afternoon on the weekends, Phil?
And listen, is it still on?
Why is it on at 5 when they've said they've moved to 10:30?
Well, wait a minute. Here comes now one of the most powerful people in the United States of America ready to come down and tell you what kind of program you watch this.
I think the American people are sick and fed up with violence on TV. Kids are asking me the same thing. Why do we have this violence on TV? Most children are just, they want a good life. They want a life free of violence.
You know, with all due respect to the Attorney General, I mean, this is so easy. I mean, I wish you'd also had the clip of that same hearings of Senator Hollings, who didn't even know what he was attacking, referring to buffcoat and beaver.
Yep.
He also railed against a satirical barroom fight that...
Right, on love and war. I mean,
yeah.
it's really scary to think that these are people who want to introduce legislation that will oblige TV producers not to show certain things.
17-year-old Michael Shingledecker was killed on October 16th because he copied the movie stunt that has been since excised from the film of the program. His mother, Patricia, is on the phone and has been listening in to us. I want to give you a chance, Mrs. Shingledecker, before our program ends. You've heard so much comment here. What is it you would want to share with us at this moment? Can you hear me, Mrs. Shingledecker? I'm sorry that we... Are you there, caller? Thanks for waiting. Hi.
Hi, Phil.
Yes.
I had a comment about Beavis and Butt-Head.
Yes.
I have a 15-year-old and a 12-year-old. I heard them making comments around the house about Beavis and Butt-Head. I didn't know what it was. We sat down, we watched it together. I thought it was ridiculous. I told them so. I'm, however, not naive enough to think that they won't sneak and watch it, that this doesn't influence them with their friends talking about it and things like that. I'm glad to hear they moved it to 10:30, but if they think that's going to keep kids from watching it, they're crazy.
I agree with you. You can't be attached to the hip of your kids. Yes.
Yeah, I want to know if the babysitter wasn't watching, didn't know the kids went next door. How do you know what they're watching at the babysitter's?
When they go over there, and if they are watching Beavis and Butt-Head, they leave out the house.
Yes, ma'am. You wanted to say.
They told me that, and I believe it.
Yes. Before the government is called in to regulate this, I think there should be a national organization of parents to set some standards, not only in television, but in many other areas of children's
Phil,
lives.
I want to jump in because one of the things that I've done is I have set up an organization. People are writing by thousands every day and calling by thousands every day. People that want to get involved in this country to change this phenomenon. So there is hope. I really do believe there is hope.
I'll be back in just a moment.
If you're
just by themselves because
Oh
they want to be part of the
no,
community?
we all need to repair the damage that's been done in this country. Community needs to be rebuilt.
Services provided and promoted.